a gentleman, and his personal hygiene. Please subscribe and like this channel to receive new videos coming soon. It is very important to model and teach the basic aspects of personal cleanliness. In doing this properly, it will make things more comfortable for you and those around you. These lessons were learned at an early age, one by a massive fail, and the other by a constant reminder from my mother. Have you ever heard the term riding shotgun? Well, in some instances, it is very important to be riding shotgun. Riding shotgun is riding in the passenger seat by the window, hearkening back to people traveling in a stagecoach in the Old West, while one person on the outside was driving the horses, and another person sits beside the driver with a shotgun to ward off bandits. One hot summer morning, I was with a group of men riding to a workplace in the front seat of a pickup truck. I was in the center seat of the pickup, which meant I wasn't riding shotgun, and I didn't have access to a window. This would not normally a problem, except for this day. One of the men asked me if I had ever had a chew of tobacco. My response was an immediate no. The men on either side of me passed the pouch of beech nut, tobacco, back and forth to each other. It was a dirty trick. Each time the pouch passed me, I could smell the sweet aroma of the tobacco, until I made the big mistake of saying, "Give me some of that stuff." The sweet smell was the trick. I took a big wad of that tricky stuff and stuck it in my cheek. I looked like a squirrel with its cheek full of acorns. It didn't take long until the trick was on me. It was awful. That sweet smell and taste immediately went south on me. Within minutes, that mess was running down my shirt, and I was getting sicker by the minute. I had to get that wretched stuff out of my mouth, or I would be throwing up in the next few seconds. Sitting in the middle seat, there was only one option. I had to spit that junk out in my hand and hang on for dear life until the truck came to a stop and we bailed out. By that time, the mess was on my face, all over my clothes, on the seat of the truck, and on my coworkers. Needless to say, I learned a very valuable lesson that day. Don't ever let yourself get talked into doing anything that you shouldn't do or don't want to do. Don't ever mess with anything that will mess you up or mess up your surroundings. Being a clean freak is not a bad choice when the option is being filthy, dirty, and sick. Also, riding shotgun by the window is highly recommended. My mother was always concerned with my personal hygiene. Most children tend to tune out their mom's constant statements about anything and everything. Well, most of the things your mom tells you are correct, and by experience, you should pay attention to her requests. She will help keep you out of trouble. These next statements will be familiar to many people. Almost without exception, every time I was leaving the house, Mom would ask, "Do you have on clean underwear? If you get hurt and have to go to the hospital, you don't want to be embarrassed by wearing dirty underwear." It was such a common statement that it was locked into my mind. I still think about this statement to this day, even though my mom has been gone for years. I must say that one weekend, it happened. I was messing around with several friends, and way too many boys were riding on a Cushman Eagle motor scooter, and when it crashed, my leg got caught under it, and I had severe burns on my leg. The next thing I knew, I was in an emergency room at the hospital, and even through the pain and shock of the moment, the main thought on my mind was a happy thought that I had listened to Mom and had put on clean underwear that morning. I don't recall that the hospital workers actually noticed my clean underwear during the entire crisis in the emergency room, but I was relieved that I actually obeyed my mom's request that day. A Bible passage that comes to my mind related to this story is, "Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on the earth." Ephesians 6, 1, 2, and 3. The following are some good principles to live by concerning your personal hygiene. A gentleman always brushes his teeth before leaving home in the morning and before attending social or business events. A gentleman showers or bathes every day, including shampooing his hair. A gentleman always uses his favorite underarm deodorant after showering. A gentleman always uses cologne, and the application of cologne shouldn't be in excess as to draw attention to the gentleman. Cologne isn't a substitute for deodorant. A gentleman is always well-groomed, including his hair trimmed and combed and facial hair properly trimmed. A gentleman never picks his nose in public. A gentleman always keeps his nails clean and trimmed. A gentleman never licks his fingers but uses a napkin or towel to clean them. A gentleman, as a rule, shouldn't chew tobacco. A gentleman should always follow the hygiene instructions of his mother. Follow these simple instructions, and you will succeed in life and relationships. Please click subscribe and like this channel to receive more new videos coming soon.